Oh, thank goodness. Civilization. Are you real? It doesn't matter. I've been in the jungle a long time. Long enough, in fact, to gain some real opinions on how they do things out here. And if you have a moment, I kind of want to talk to you about them. Just kind of rally some opinions and see what you think. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the latest edition of Versus. For the first time ever, we will not be talking about rides today. We are talking about an area of the park, obviously being Adventureland. If you know me, you know how much I love the feel of adventure, the jungles, the temples, the curses, the exploration is all just thrilling to me, which is why I am so excited to be talking about Adventureland. It has been there since the beginning. When Disneyland opened in 1955, Adventureland was right there from the get-go, and when the Magic Kingdom opened in 1971, you better believe Adventureland was there from the beginning as well. But now, in the good year 2019, which area is better, Adventureland in Disneyland or the Magic Kingdom? They'll be duking it out today, so let's kick things off with round one. I feel like we have to start with the bird's eye view, just really practically the layout of the lands. Now, Disneyland has always been kind of cramped. It was there since the beginning, before any other Disney park, and they really didn't know just how busy and popular these parks would someday get, and you really get the feel for that in Adventureland. It is one of the more cramped areas in the park, especially towards the back end of it. It is really just a little crescent. There's a couple ways in through the main street or through Frontierland, but for all intents and purposes, it is one way in, one way out. No real room to grow or expand on either direction, and it is quite busy in there. The Magic Kingdom, on the other hand, knew just how many people were going to be flooding through there, and they definitely compensated. They have much bigger walkways, a much bigger area, and there's a lot more stretching wiggle room. I keep doing this little dance, but that's how it feels over in the Magic Kingdom and Adventureland. A lot more space to move about, and there's more room for the area to grow too. Magic Kingdom has a lot more property. They can push out new rides and attractions should they want to while remaining in Adventureland. Although the actual general shape of them are very similar. Magic Kingdom's Adventureland is pretty much just a crescent as well. I kind of wish that it would branch and maze out a little bit. Either of them would really benefit from what Star Tours Galaxy's Edge does, in the sense that you can get lost. There's not just one pathway. You can branch and go in any direction, which would really be amazing in Adventureland, but I'm just kind of dreaming. Back to the real concrete points. Magic Kingdom has more space, and I think it should get the first point for the layout. Round two, so much more important than the layout. Just forget about that. The rides, the attractions. Now, both Adventurelands have quite a similar portfolio of attractions. They both have the Tiki Room, although I would argue that the pre-show in Disneyland is a little better than the pre-show in the Magic Kingdom, but the show itself, very similar. It's the beloved Tiki Room. They both have the Jungle Cruise, and I do think one Jungle Cruise is better than the other, but I haven't done that Versus yet, so you could just wait. Let's just say the Jungle Cruises are pretty much the same. The biggest difference comes from their e-ticket attractions. Actually, Jungle Cruise was an e-ticket attraction according to my shirt, but we could just forget that for now. Let's just say it's like D nowadays. Anyways, Magic Kingdom has Pirates of the Caribbean in Adventureland, which, right off the bat, as we've discussed in Versus before, the Disneyland Pirates of the Caribbean is a much, much better ride than the Magic Kingdom one, but the Magic Kingdom Pirates of the Caribbean is still an awesome ride, and the queue is absolutely phenomenal. You feel like you're kind of in the Caribbean going into these brigs of these Spanish pirate, it's got the vibe going down, but I still personally think it fits better in New Orleans Square. Adventureland doesn't really seem like the right place for pirates, although I guess it's not too far a stretch, and it's still a great ride. But Disneyland has, of course, my all-time favorite ride. Look, I'm probably a little bit biased. I have a freaking tattoo of Mara, the Indiana Jones adventure, but to me, the Indiana Jones ride in Disneyland encapsulates what Adventureland is supposed to be. This temple in the middle of the forest. You get lost exploring through that queue. The ride itself has such a riveting feel of adventure where you're part of the adventure. You are an explorer. You put on your pith hat. You go into the temple and you are just having a real adventure. It's called the Indiana Jones Adventure, Temple of the Forbidden Eye. So I think I've made my point clear. As far as the rides go, Disneyland has to take the point. If not just for Indiana Jones alone, I think it has some other things that give it a leg up on Magic Kingdom. So sorry, Pirates of the Caribbean, but Indiana Jones, Pirates versus Indy is now what this video has become. Just give Disneyland the point and we'll keep going. Lunch break. This bit wasn't worth it. It just took me 60 seconds to eat 3 chips. For round 3, we will be checking out our food dining options in the Adventurelands, and forgive me if there's some ruffle in my teeth, you know why. Disneyland has quite a few delicious options. Namely, there is the brand new tropical hideaway where you can get different flavors of Dole Whip, which, yes, of course, you can still get just the classic Dole Whip across the street, but the lines go a little faster at the tropical hideaway. Just trust me on that. But you can also get these Dole Whip loaded with Pocky and crystallized hibiscus, secret candy, candied bacon, secret candy, secret menu, candied bacon, as well as some delicious different flavors of bao buns and these sweet rolls that are just delicious. Fun options there. And then you have, of course, the Bengal barbecue, which has gone through some major expansions. Much more seating than there used to be. Some more food options. Skewers of different meats, of different vegetables, different sauces. Some great drink options. I really do like the Bengal barbecue. But Disneyland is lacking a real restaurant. Yeah, you can get a full meal at either of those two places, but they don't really feel like a restaurant in the way that the Jungle Navigation Company over at the Magic Kingdom does. It is actually a sit-down restaurant serving African-inspired food, from steaks to lamb chops to soups and salads. You know, it's all good stuff, but it's not exactly what I want to be eating when I'm in a theme park, especially in hot, humid Florida. Nonetheless, it is a great sit-down option for you to enjoy. There's also the Tortuga Tavern, which despite its name and despite the internet telling me is Mexican food, it's actually hot dogs and brisket with a little bit of a Spanish twist, maybe. Either way, it's good. I do love barbecue. I love brisket, so that's a good quick service option. And of course, they have Dole Whip as well. In addition, across the street a little in Adventureland, they have the Orange Birds. What are they? I gotta check my notes here. It's called, oh, didn't say it in my notes. Anyways, it's orange Dole Whip, kind of an orange float, delicious kind of thing. And it's a throwback to before Dole Whip, there was the Orange Bird and they had an orange soft serve. It was a precursor to this whole crazy Dole sponsorship. What's that all about? And the Orange Bird I do love. I don't even know too much Orange Bird lore, so forgive me on that, but look at this cute little guy. Look at him go. I love him. Anyways, I gotta say it's a bit of a tie. I think Disneyland has better food options, but Magic Kingdom has more diverse food options, and I can't really pick one or the other. So as far as food goes, we're just gonna call it a tie. Everyone wins. Everyone wins a prize. Prize for you. Prize for you. Prize for you. I have to edit that now. Let's keep going. For this final round, we're gonna be discussing atmosphere and immersion. And you know what? This is so important in my opinion, it's worth 2 points. It's still anyone's game, and it would actually still be anyone's game if it was just worth 1 point, but please, just go with me on this one. It's worth 2 points. The Magic Kingdom, as I mentioned, is quite sparse. There's a lot of arm room, which as far as layout goes, as far as practicality and crowd management goes, yes, is a big plus. But when it comes to the immersion of Adventureland, the size of it is actually a big thumbs down, in my opinion. The crowds help, the tightness helps in a really strange way. Not to mention, it's almost not fair, Disneyland has had 60 plus years for those plants to grow in. It has really developed into an authentic jungle. And really, I'm a plant guy. I'm obsessed with plants. My career is plants. This is just a sampling of the plants that I have of my own. But Disneyland has some of the most impressive tropical specimens I've ever seen in my life. Like, these plants are incredible, and they loom over the walkways. Jungle Cruise has fleshed out so much. It's insanity. It is just bonkers crazy, these plants in Disneyland. I don't want to lay all my cards out at once because Disney World does really have some awesome theming in Adventureland as well. It's kind of split into two lands. You have the Arabian Village and the Caribbean Plaza, where the theming is as you would expect. The Arabian Village has these Arabian looking buildings, the Aladdin ride with the big golden camels, and the Caribbean Plaza, that is, has a lot of pirate theming, a lot of tropical Caribbean theming, and it is Florida, so of course they have some really wonderful tropical plants there as well. The problem with that, though, is that the area seems a little confused. You go Arabian, and then you have this Asian temple for the tiki room, this Polynesian temple, and then you go on and have this sparse plaza with Spanish themes, but also Caribbean themes. And it's kind of an amalgam. The thing that makes it most confusing is that the Polynesian adventure Disney theme of tikis and masks and stuff carries throughout all sections of the land, because the left side where Jungle Cruise is kind of like still stretching its jungly tiki kind of vibe out. I don't really know how to explain it. It confuses me a little bit. It feels like two separate lands that are kind of forced together with similar theming. And I get it, Adventureland is not a cohesive theme. Not even in Disneyland. On the entrance to Adventureland, you'll see a Polynesian mask next to an African mask, and here's a Hawaiian mask, and it's kind of a mess, but it's more cohesive than Disneyland, I would argue. Disneyland has locked into this 1930s over-the-top explorers vibe with the swing music, the cues of all the rides, just the ultimate feel of it. Even the gift shops all feel very cohesively 30s. Whereas Magic Kingdom, yes, it still has that 30s adventurer feel, but especially the Arabian Village doesn't really mesh with that, and Pirates being even earlier than the 30s, it's less cohesive. And do I still love it? Yes, but as far as immersion and atmosphere goes, I have to give these final 2 points over to my boy Disneyland. Well, that's it. We have a winner. Disneyland's Adventureland is just ultimately better, in my opinion. And Magic Kingdoms always leaves me feeling like there's something to be desired. Don't get me wrong. I love it. I absolutely adore it. Adventureland is my favorite area in both parks, except for on the days when I think that I like New Orleans Square better. But again, we can just forget about all my inconsistencies throughout all my videos. Just don't even worry about it. But that does it for today. Tell me what you thought. Poll right here for our next verses. Do you want to see another area versus, like, you know, Main Street versus Main Street, Fantasyland versus Fantasyland, Tomorrowland versus Tomorrowland, or you want me to go back to rides? We're talking Matterhorn versus Everest, Indy versus Dinosaur, and Jungle Cruise versus Jungle Cruise, that sort of stuff. Answer that simple little poll right there and let me know in the comments exactly what verses specifically you want to see next. I will see you next week. I'm gonna try to keep things cooking every week. I might be taking more breaks. I'm a little overwhelmed, but I really still love doing this. Still love you. I'm gonna end the video. My outros are always too long. Bye.